The camera pans over a table with a 1971 1-cent coin resting under a spotlight, slowly rotating to reveal the details. A soft, catchy background tune plays. Coins often tell the stories of the times they were made, and today, we're going to focus on a coin from the early 1970s, the 1971 1-cent coin, also known as the penny. A small piece of history, a symbol of change, and surprisingly, a coin with hidden value. In this video, we'll explore its origins, its significance, and why it could be worth a lot more than just 1 cent. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the fascinating world of the 1971 penny. Cut to the host sitting at a desk with the 1971 penny in front of them, looking at the camera with an inviting smile. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to talk about something you probably have in your pocket right now, the 1-cent coin, specifically the 1971 penny. This tiny coin may not seem like much, but it's got an interesting history, and some 1971 pennies are worth much more than their face value. Let's take a look at how this coin came to be, its historical significance, and why it might be more valuable than you think. The 1971 penny is part of a larger era of change in U.S. currency. But before we talk about the specifics of this coin, let's first take a look at the history of the U.S. 1-cent coin leading up to that year. Cut to a series of images showing different designs of the U.S. 1-cent coin through the years, from the early 1800s to the 1960s. Before 1971, the design of the penny had undergone many changes. Since its introduction in 1793, the penny has evolved through several iterations, from the iconic Liberty cap to the wheat cent design that was in circulation until 1958. In 1959, the U.S. Mint introduced a significant change by putting President Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, marking the first time a real person appeared on a U.S. coin. The reverse side of the penny featured 2 wheat stalks, which gave the coin its popular wheat cent nickname. The camera zooms in on the 1959 Lincoln wheat cent and quickly transitions to the 1960s versions. But by 1960, the penny began to undergo changes in response to rising costs and public demands for coins that were easier to produce. In 1962, the U.S. Mint started making pennies out of a copper-plated zinc composition, replacing the heavier copper alloy mix used in earlier versions. Then, in 1965, the Mint replaced silver in other coins and shifted to a new metal composition for all circulating coins. However, the most significant change happened in 1971, when the U.S. Mint reintroduced the penny with a new composition and design. It was the dawn of a new era for U.S. coinage, and the 1971 1-cent coin would come to represent an important chapter in the history of American currency. Now, let's focus on the specifics of the 1971 penny. The 1971 penny was struck in a copper-plated zinc composition, which is what we see in most pennies today. The coin features the familiar obverse design, Abraham Lincoln's portrait by Victor David Brenner, and the reverse shows a simple wheat stalk design that had been in circulation since 1909. But in 1971, there was a shift in the design of the reverse side. The U.S. Mint decided to stick with the wheat cent design for a few more years before transitioning to the Lincoln Memorial reverse design in 1959. So, if you have a 1971 penny, you will see the famous wheat stalks on the reverse, symbolizing America's agriculture and prosperity. Cut to close-up shots of a 1971 penny's obverse and reverse side, focusing on the details of Lincoln's portrait and the wheat stalks. Now, let's talk about the value of the 1971 penny. As we all know, 1-cent coins aren't worth much in terms of buying power. But when it comes to collecting, some pennies, including those from 1971, can be worth far more than their face value. The vast majority of 1971 pennies you'll encounter today are worth only 1 cent, but there are a few rare exceptions. The condition of the coin, its mint mark, and any special characteristics can dramatically affect its value. For example, if you come across a 1971 penny in mint condition, it could be worth more than just a cent to collectors. A coin in near-perfect condition is classified as MS-65 or higher, and these can sometimes fetch anywhere from 50 cents to $1, depending on the rarity of the mint mark and the overall demand. But here's the kicker. While most 1971 pennies are not worth much more than their face value, some can be worth far more, especially if they were struck with a mistake or error. Cut to a shot of a rare 1971 penny with an error on it. Let's take a closer look at some of the rare varieties of the 1971 penny. A 1971 penny with an off-center strike, a double die error, or any other minting mistake can be worth a lot more. For example, a 1971 penny with a clear double die error, where the date and other features are doubled, can fetch thousands of dollars at auction depending on the condition and severity of the error. Some of the most valuable 1971 pennies are those that have a clear and noticeable double die error, especially on the date or the lettering on the coin. These are highly sought after by collectors, and some have sold for as much as $5,000 to $10,000. Now that we know about its value to collectors, let's talk about the 1971 penny in terms of circulation. While it might seem like a small piece of change today, there were literally billions of pennies minted in 1971, making it one of the most common coins in circulation. In fact, in 1971 alone, the U.S. Mint produced over 4.7 billion pennies, making it one of the highest mintage years for the coin. So, it's safe to say that the 1971 penny is still relatively common in most change jars or coin collections. So, with all these facts in mind, you might be asking, why do we still use pennies today? Well, that's a good question, and one that has been debated for years. Despite the increasing cost to produce pennies and the rise of digital payments, the penny remains a staple of American currency. There's a cultural and historical significance to keeping the penny in circulation, as it represents the nation's past and how far we've come. Plus, for many small businesses and customers, the penny still plays a role in making exact change. However, there are still some who argue that the penny is outdated and should be phased out. Countries like Canada have already stopped minting their 1-cent coins, and there are discussions in the US about whether it's time to do the same. Until then, the 1971 penny, along with many others, continues to live on in our pockets, change jars, and collections. So, whether you're a casual coin collector or just someone with a curiosity about the past, the 1971 1-cent coin is a great example of how a small piece of currency can have so much history and significance. From its role in shaping the future of American coinage to the potential for hidden treasure in your spare change, the 1971 penny is definitely more than just a simple cent. Thanks for joining me in this deep dive into the 1971 1-cent coin. If you found this video interesting, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating history and coin collecting tips. And hey, don't forget to check your pockets for those hidden gems. You might just have a rare 1971 penny worth more than you think.